contact with some of the Boko Haram terrorists, where 13 of them were killed. And all the camps, places where we suspected to be camps of the Boko Haram terrorists along Axis, were also cleared. Now, ambush operations. Own troops conducted some ambush operations also within the period. On the 14th of February, at about 04:45 hours, we laid ambush at a suspected Boko Haram terrorist crossing point between Kukareta and Gamdu, where 3 Boko Haram terrorists were killed as soon as we made contact with them. Items recovered included 1 AK-47 rifle, 3 magazines, 2 RPG bombs, 50 rounds of 7.62mm ammunition, a ding gun, and some local charms, and of course 2 knives. Also on the 21st, we equally conducted ambush operation, and own troops are, still at a suspected Boko Haram terrorist crossing point at Frigi along road to Polka Banki Junction. The troops made contact with the Boko Haram and killed 3 of them. And during the operation, one of our trucks, of course, was slightly damaged from the encounter that we had. The items recovered and destroyed in situ included those that were recovered, which was AK-47 rifle, magazine, and 7 rounds of 7.62mm ammunition. Those that were destroyed in situ were bicycles and food condiments, which I believe they had gone to get to restock, but of course they met their Waterloo. There are other, ambush operations that were conducted, which, in my view, I do not think that time will permit us to begin to go through all those. But these are the ones we think we need to let you know. Now, also within the period, we ran into Boko Haram terrorist ambush. And on the 9th of February, at about 19:30 hours, own convoy troops, which, of course, was widely reported, conveying some of our newly inducted recruits that were going to marry up with our troops in Dikwa. Of course, they were ambushed at Ajiri along Mafa Dikwa Road. And in the process, we lost 8 of the soldiers, and 18 others were wounded. And we have 3 that are missing in action. Of course, that we have also reported, as well as some of the vehicles that were lost during that operation. Efforts are on currently to ensure that those who are missing in action are recovered. We're still on the search for them. Equally, there was an attack which was conducted by the Boko Haram terrorists on the 24th of February at about 23:59 hours. Some Boko Haram terrorist elements in gun trucks and on motorcycles attacked our location at Gajiram. Many of you who know the route between here and Mongunu, just more than half the distance between here and Mongunu, that's where you have Gajiram. And we have our troops that are located in that location, and they were attacked. Sadly, we lost an officer and 10 soldiers in that encounter. And of course, one of them, we also equally lost 1 gun truck, which we equally recaptured from the Boko Haram terrorists. Now, in addition to the men that were lost, we equally lost 11 AK-47 rifles and an RPG tube. 2 of the Boko Haram terrorists were killed in action, as well as 5 of their motorcycles and 1 AK-47 rifle were recovered. And of course, we also went on the pursuit, and in the process, we recovered 1 Toyota Land Cruiser belonging to the Boko Haram terrorists, which of course they abandoned in the course of our pursuit. Other items that we recovered included 9 rounds of 12.7mm ammunition and metal link for 12.7mm ammunition, as well as assorted hard drugs, a note with Boko Haram terrorist names, which also had Arabic instructions on them. We equally got a microchip, and which contained audio messages in Kanuri, Hausa, and Arabic preaching. We are also profiling and trying to do some measure of exploitation with those materials that we collected from the scene. Now, what I would like to show is, discovery of Indian hemp to also bring to fore that allied to the criminality of the Boko Haram terrorists, there are some other criminal gangs that we also find within the theater of operation. The linkages with the terrorists is still being established, but I thought I should bring this to your notice. That on the 2nd of February at about 08:10 hours, armed troops that are in Song checkpoint. Song is in Adamawa State, the northern part of Adamawa. We still have troops in that place on a checkpoint. They stopped a Honda vehicle with registration number Badagry 266EE, of course, registered from Lagos State, with 2 persons. And on questioning, the driver identified himself and claimed to be a policeman. And of course, the troops insisted that they needed to see his to search the vehicle. Just at that point, he took off and began to speed up. And of course, the soldiers at the checkpoint took action and went on pursuit. And in the process, the vehicle, ran off the road and hit a wall, and the driver died. And just as the troops suspected, the boots were opened, and when they were searched, it was touched with materials that are suspected to be Indian hemp. Perhaps that was what. And of course, we also realized that the ID card that he claimed that he had was a policeman was actually a fake ID card of a police inspector, which does not exist. So that accounts for his attempt to run away from the troops. Now, also within the period, we made some arrests, a good number of them, and many of them, of course, are the Boko Haram terrorist suspects, which are within the period. And on the 16th, at about 14:25 hours, own troops deployed at Mafa intercepted one Hassan Adamu, aged 27 years. And of course, he was suspected, and rightly identified as a Boko Haram terrorist by those who he has been terrorizing in Mafa town. And the suspect eventually confessed to being a member of Boko Haram terrorists, but that he was tired of the Boko Haram terrorist ideology and wanted to surrender. But of course, he didn't surrender before then. So now that he has seen the other side of it, perhaps that's why he's giving us those stories. But he's currently in our custody, undergoing further interrogation. On the 21st, at about 16:30 hours, own troops intercepted a Boko Haram terrorist suspect by name Ari from Bola Umari village. He disguised, as an IDP to gain access into the IDP camp at Banki. And the suspect, of course, when he was searched, he tried to integrate with the IDP. And eventually we found the sum of 1,264,000 naira on him. And of course, also 160,000 sefa, which were